Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Today I will show you how to make one of the most powerful fire builds in Wolong Fallen Dynasty. S tier category, the best weapons, gear, and spells to use. This build combines very high fire damage with speed and agility. Our primary weapon of choice, the Iron Sword, pairs very nicely with a fire build since it scales so well with the fire virtue. This weapon works in every type of scenario. We will be very deadly at close range, but also have the ability to destroy enemies at long range as well, thanks to our powerful martial arts abilities. This build focuses on stacking as much flame damage and flame attack power as possible. The Wizardry Spells on this build allow you to triple the amount of damage, amplifying your flame attack power as well as your melee abilities. This build is fast, deadly, and will burn anything that gets in your path, making it one of the best fire builds in Wolong Fallen Dynasty. The first thing I want to do is show you guys my player stats, everything you need to know. If you look to the left here, you can see that my character is level 113. I just recently started New Game Plus. If you look at the 5 virtues here, you can see that the fire virtue is our main priority. This affects the amount of spirit gained when attacking and the amount of spirit consumed by martial arts. We currently have 25 wood virtue, 70 fire virtue, and 10 earth and metal virtue. Since our main weapon, the Iron Sword, scales so well with the fire virtue, essentially the higher the fire virtue, the more damage you will do with your melee weapon. It's also a good idea to focus on the wood virtue since it affects HP and the amount of spirit lost when attacked. It also increases spell effect duration, so when you enchant your weapon with flames, it will last a lot longer. Currently on this build, we have 674 HP, 517 attack power with our Iron Sword, 410 defense, 112% spell duration, and we also have A tier agility. This means our equipment load is very light, which makes deflecting attacks a lot easier, and also you won't waste any spirit when you dodge. If you look at the very bottom here, you can see we have 322 fire damage. This affects the damage and burn status effect accumulation dealt by your flame attacks. Looking at the special effects, you can see that we have plus 86 flame attack power. This increases flame damage and status effect accumulation. We also have plus 51 flame resistance, which obviously increases resistance against flame damage. Plus 6.5% damage to enemies with burns, 22.6% burn accumulation on enemies, and almost 10% extra flame damage. Our main weapon on this build is a 4-star plus 8 Iron Sword. This Iron Sword has 517 attack power, and if you look below at the scaling, this Iron Sword scales very well with the fire and the wood virtue. The first martial arts special effect that we have on this weapon is called Meteor Shower, which allows you to attack with repeated thrusts. This martial arts ability is very strong, and it's a really easy way to destroy enemy spirit. The best martial arts special effect on this Iron Sword is called Swift Lightning. Perform a fierce forward-facing thrust. But the best part about this ability, it has an additional input where you can charge the attack. Hold down the art's input upon activation to build up energy. The attack power increases according to the charge duration. In simple terms, the longer you charge this attack, you will do more damage, and you will also increase your range. This Iron Sword has negative 2.6% deflect spirit consumption, plus 3.2% flame damage, and plus 18 flame attack power. For my bow, I am using the Flying General's bow. This is the only bow I have that currently scales with the fire virtue. You can see here we have A+ scaling, but one of the best things about this bow, and a really good special effect to put on your ranged weapon, is damage reduction. Damage reduction decreases the damage taken from enemy attacks. So essentially, if you land a successful ranged attack on an enemy, it will increase your survivability. For my gear, I am using the full Young Conqueror armor set, which is incredible for a fire virtue build. If you want to get your hands on this armor set, you have to level up Sun Chi, one of the reinforcements, to level 10. Once he is your sworn brother, you will gain access to this armor set. For the headpiece, I have a rank 4 Young Conqueror bandana +6, which gives us 62 defense, a couple of different resistances here, but the most important thing are the special effects below. The first special effect we have gives us +17 flame attack power. Again, this increases flame damage and status effect accumulation, and you can stack this on every piece of gear. We also have +17 flame resistance, +3% damage to enemies with burns, and a really good special effect which I highly recommend putting on a piece of gear is called Haste. Every time we use a wizardry spell, we are going to apply haste to ourselves when a wizardry spell hits an enemy, and haste is going to increase your movement speed. For the chest piece, we have a 4-star Young Conqueror garb +9 with 150 defense, and for the special effects below, we have +3.1% flame damage, +17 flame resistance, +17 flame attack power, and an additional 8% burn accumulation on enemies. Next, we have 4-star Young Conqueror gauntlets +7, 70 defense, and for the special effects below, +17 flame attack power, +7.3% burn accumulation on enemies, an additional 3.5% damage to enemies with burns, and we also get power gain upon deflecting a critical blow. This means that every time we deflect a critical attack, we are going to increase our overall attack damage. And lastly, we have the Young Conqueror Greaves 4-star +9, 118 defense. We have +17 flame attack power, +3.4% flame damage, +7.3% burn accumulation on enemies, and +17 flame resistance. Next, I want to show you guys my wizardry spells, which will help you amplify your damage across the board. The first spell I'm using, which is going to be your main ranged spell, is Bursting Fireball. Hurls a large fireball that will split into multiple small fireballs and explode after a certain period of time or upon hitting an enemy or terrain. The next spell I'm using is Flame Weapon. For a certain period of time, enchants your current melee weapon with flame. This is going to be the quickest and the easiest way to apply burns to your enemies, which is going to amplify your damage significantly. Next, we have Amplified Damage. For a certain period of time, increases both the damage you deal to enemies and receive from them. You have to be careful using this spell because even though it's going to amplify your damage, it also amplifies the damage that you receive. So you have to play very careful with this one, but keep in mind this is also going to amplify the damage of your wizardry spells. And moving on to the last spell here, which increases your wizardry spell damage even further, we have Overpower Burst. Greatly increases the damage dealt by the next wizardry spell or martial arts attack. If you want to increase the attack power of your Bursting Fireball spell, the first thing you have to do is activate Overpower Burst. This is going to increase the damage that your next wizardry spell will do or martial arts attack. After that, we would amplify our damage and then initiate the spell, causing tons of burn damage and melting the enemy health bar. Now that you've seen the stats, weapons, gear, and spells on this build, let me show you exactly how well this build performs against bosses in New Game Plus. Thank you all so much for watching the video. If you missed my last Wulong Fallen Dynasty build, I did a Water Virtue Assassin build that I highly recommend checking out. If you enjoyed this video in any way, shape, or form, a thumbs up would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much. If you want to see more Wulong Fallen Dynasty videos coming very soon, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also turn on those bell notifications so you are notified every time I drop a new video.